Hello everyone, welcome back, and here's card number 2 in my series of Keeping It Simple. These are the supplies we'll be using. I'm using Distress Oxide ink in Mowed Lawn. I have embossing powder in gold. I have my Versamark and my anti-static tool. And I have a scrap piece of paper. I have my panel as well as my base. And I'll be using this stamp set from Stampabilities and this sentiment that says thank you. And I have my bold print cling stamp from Hero Arts. I have my Misty, of course, and my heating tool. So let's get started. I'm putting my panel into my Misty, and I'm going to line up the background stamp right where I want it. And I have to remove the foam from the back of the Misty. So since it's a rubber stamp, I don't need that foam. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape behind my panel so it stays in place because I want to stamp the entire panel. So I don't want to use the magnet on there. And I used my anti-static tool and then inked up the cling stamp, and I'm doing this twice. The lines on this are very, very fine. So I stamped it twice to make sure that it went well on my panel. So we're just going to put the gold embossing powder all over this, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. It just comes to life. Just having everything stick. Awesome. So I'm just hitting the back of the panel just to remove any excess embossing powder that might have clung. And it came out beautifully, so I'm going to take this and just clean up real quick. And then I am going to take my heating tool and I just set it down for a second so it could warm up. I grab my panel and get to heating and melting all this gold embossing powder. So now what you're going to notice after I do finish heating up the embossing powder and melting everything, I am going to color my panel. Now you could have done this step first. You could have just colored the entire panel, the cardstock, in whatever color it is you want to use. Today I'm using Mowed Lawn. And then do the embossing on top. The only reason I didn't do that is because you have to make sure that the panel is completely dry, especially when you're inking up. It kind of stays wet. The fibers in the cardstock stay wet, and so if you're going to emboss on top of that afterwards, you have to make sure it's completely dry because the embossing powder would just stick to everything. So to save time, I just thought it was easier for me to emboss my design first and then ink up because it resists the ink. So I don't have to worry about that. Now you saw there I used the cap to kind of hold my cardstock in place. That little tip came from Ryan from Glitter Grunge Greetings here on YouTube. I'll link his channel down below. Good little tip to just hold your cardstock in place, especially when you're inking up the entire thing. And then I took a paper towel, as you saw there, and just kind of wiped, and it took all the ink off of the embossed areas. So easy peasy. Now I'm taking my panel and I'm chopping it up. I'm taking an inch off of each side of my panel. And you'll see here I'm going to take my card base and I'm just going to line this up. I'm putting the two panels on the side, and then the center panel I'll be putting on foam tape and lifting it up. Really simple way to make the card look, I guess, not only a little fancier, but look like a little bit more complicated. And it's not. It's super easy. Just took an inch off of each side and then just put foam tape on the center to pop that up, and it gives it dimension and it looks really nice. So I just glued down both sides of the 1-inch panels. And now I'm going to put the foam tape on that center piece, and that's going to go right down the center and popped up. So it's a really easy technique, and I think it looks really nice. It just gives it a little something because we're keeping it simple, guys. Like there's not much going on here at all that we can't do. So there it goes. It just gives it a little bit of something, that little something. So I'm taking my Misty back out and I'm cleaning up my stamp and removing that because now we're going to work on the sentiment. And again, this card is, because it's so simple, and it's a pretty just basic design, and you can use any type of cling stamp. You can do like geometric shapes in the background. You could do a floral one. If you don't have background stamps, you can just use a single stamp and stamp it several times on the background and make your own kind of background. It's just really easy. But this could be a thank you card, a happy birthday card, a sympathy card. It could be absolutely anything. So I decided to use the thank you. So I stamped it in the Versamark and I'm going to heat emboss it. It's going to be gold as well, you know, to go with everything on the card. So I'm just pouring the embossing powder on here now. And we're going to melt that down, and then I'm going to cut it up. So you can see that the sentiment goes straight across, thank you. I am going to cut this down because I want to stack it, you know, one above the other. I want thank on top and then you on the bottom. You could leave it just like this. Some people also cut their stamps, you know, and set up the stamps, like stack them one on top of the other. But I don't like doing surgery on my stamps. So here I'm playing with placement. I wasn't sure if I wanted it in the center, above. I like it down below. I don't know, with simple cards like this where the background is kind of the showpiece, I like to have my sentiments down low. I feel like it's a better way to showcase the background. Your eye doesn't just go in the center to the sentiment. It kind of like you're able to see a lot of the background. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but aesthetically I like the way this looks. So I'm just stacking it up. I put a little foam tape, so this is popped up as well. Add a little bit more dimension and make it look a little prettier and fancier. And then you could stop here and the card could be done, but I decided to add just a little bit of bling. So you'll see me tossing these around, playing with placement. Ultimately, I decided to put 3 on the top left corner and then 3 down on the bottom right corner. And I just thought it added a little something because, again, it's a really simple card. It's a clean card. So this is a great way to just add a little umph, if you will. So I'm just putting a little dot of glue and placing down my sequence. And we're going to call this card done. That's it, guys. It doesn't get any simpler than that. So take a look at this. I do a little slow-mo so you can really take a look. Of course, the lighting is washing out. I really apologize for that. But as always, I always have pictures at the end so you could truly see what it looks like. But it's really pretty, really simple. And again, a card for any occasion. And that is it, guys. I hope you enjoy this little series. I have a few more ideas coming up. And that's it. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment. And if you're already subscribed, you already know. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.